Can I be diagnosed as a female at birth that wants to become a man? Stay tuned.
I'm not like you. I want to forget myself and be lied to. I don't know if anything is right. I'm just a girl who can't look herself in the eye.
All right, so I just got off the phone with a nurse practitioner, and she prescribed me 100 milligrams a week of testosterone because I'm a woman who wants to become a man. I've been on testosterone for 4 years. You'll see the call. You'll see how it all goes. Hey, I'm just popping in here real quick. I know, very jarring, new set of clothes, but I got this picture from Google, and I turned it into this picture. They asked for a blood pressure reading. They didn't do one, of course, because this is all done over the phone. So I just thought, I'm not even going to do that. So I just got it from Google, photoshopped it into this, and sent them this one. And so nothing was real, and they didn't suspect a single thing. So I just thought I'd add that. There was a lot of stuff that I just totally lied about. And so I won't really spoil too much of that. It's not super interesting, so I'm just going to give you the rundown, the skinny, and then you can watch that if you want, just to see the whole interaction. But really, the points you want to take away from this are: one, they did not scan for the fact that I have a blood clotting condition. So if I take this drug, this hormone, that this person has just prescribed to me at these dosages, I am at a substantial increased risk of blood clots and death, immediate death, or pulmonary embolism, which you do not want. So that's the first thing. The second thing is she prescribed me 100 milligrams a week. Just so you're aware, 100 milligrams a week for a man my size would give me twice the testosterone that I naturally have. And additionally, and that might vary, obviously it varies from person to person how it actually goes into the blood and impacts the levels, but about twice, maybe even 3 times. But a woman taking it, she's going to have, I don't even know the multiple. It could be 20 to 30 times the amount of testosterone she should have in her body. But it's certainly more than even a man my size should have in his body naturally, unless he's extremely high testosterone, and probably will cause issues with men, real men of my size at some point. But certainly women taking that, I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. So that's everything you got to know. I can go pick that up right now. I think she sent it in. To say there's no oversight on this is an understatement. I mean, there's nothing. I could be from never having injected it to being diagnosed with gender dysphoria and getting testosterone within an hour. I keep thinking about it, and it just blows my mind. So, and without further ado, here is the investigation.
How are you?
Hello, I'm doing okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can.
Perfect. I'm one of the nurse practitioners here. It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you.
How's your day going?
Pretty good. Things are going okay. I'm kind of stressed at the moment, but otherwise, yeah. How about you?
Okay. About the same, but
Yeah, that's how it goes.
we'll get through it.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're not as stressed about this appointment as I.
I am kind of, only because it's important to me, obviously, right? So
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll try to take some deep breaths together. And so what we'll do with this visit is just talk a little bit about your history.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about services and then discuss our next steps, okay?
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So looking at your medical history, it looks like you don't have any heart problems, high blood pressure, anything like that, correct?
No.
Tell me a little bit about your history of anxiety and depression.
Well, it kind of coincides, I think, probably with transitioning.
Yep.
So, I don't know, that kind of goes back into my past, kind of, but like when I was, I guess you could say around 11-ish, I thought I would grow up like my brother. You know, his name's Jason, and
Okay.
he's 3 years older than me, so I saw him go through puberty, and I don't know, even into my very young life when I was like 4 or 5, I thought I'd grow up to be like him. And
Yeah.
and obviously I had a completely different puberty. I was pretty lucky, though, because breast growth wasn't as much as it could have been. So
Okay.
I'm sort of on the borderline of, I don't even know if I want top surgery, but I can kind of be like that. I don't know. I'm still thinking about that, but
Yeah.
So yeah, so I guess the depression and anxiety came from the fact that I expected a completely, I don't know why I expected it, but I just did. I expected a completely different puberty, and when I didn't have that, I mean, at the time I didn't even know it was depression. It took me almost until college really to really figure that out. And then I went into psychiatry for a long time. I saw like maybe like 4 different psychiatrists and like a ton of different therapists, and they put me on different medications and everything, and none of the medications worked. And the anxiety, I don't know if the anxiety is really related to transitioning. I think I just have anxiety.
Baseline anxiety. Okay. And any current, so you're not on any current medications. Are you in any therapy currently?
No, not at the moment, no.
Okay. And any current thoughts of hurting yourself or others?
No.
Okay. Perfect. So the next thing is, and you sort of started into this, but tell me a little bit about your history or journey to wanting to start on and then later starting on hormone therapy. How did that look for you?
Well, yeah, like I said, like when I was like 3, 4, 5, I don't know, like I looked up to my older brother, thought I would grow up like him and like my dad, right? And I guess around that 11 age, I realized I wasn't gonna have that same sort of puberty, and all the guys were changing in different ways than I was, and I envied them. And there were 2 big moments, I would say, in my later life, though. Like, okay, so 18, when I was 18, I dated. I sort of started trying to be, because I'm interested in women, so I was tried to date a woman, as in sort of like a lesbian sort of relationship, and it just didn't work. The dynamic didn't work because obviously she wanted a lesbian partner, and I wanted a straight woman who wanted, sex like a straight woman might. So the dynamic didn't work. The intimacy just didn't work, but I was still attracted to women, so I didn't really understand. So that's something that sort of sat in the back of my mind for a while, and then later on, in college, I learned about trans people. I sort of knew about them a little bit from like pop culture and stuff, but only like really like bad representations. You know what I mean? Like Silence of the Lambs type stuff. And so I didn't know anything about trans people until late college. And then I learned about them, and I learned that like, okay, transition, this is a thing you can like actually medically do, right? It's something you can actually do. And then once that happened, I graduated college, and it became obsessive. Once I knew like I could do that and I wanted to do it, I just felt like I wanted to, and I would obsess about it. I would stay up at night, especially right after college. I would stay up at night like crying about how I was aging as a woman, basically. And so I went and I got on. Well, no, I saw a gender therapist for like 3 months first, because I had some, mainly just because I knew I wanted to do it, but I had doubts that I was trans.
Okay. You
know what I mean? Even though I knew I wanted to do it, I just didn't understand, because I just learned about trans people like a year before,
Right,
so,
right.
And yeah, okay, so 3 or 4 months in therapy, and then she refers me to a doctor, a good doctor, I'd say, but the problem is so I saw that doctor for several years, everything was fine, but then that doctor stopped practicing there and moved somewhere else, and she gave us notice, and I could have been a little more proactive on that, but I got lazy, and then 1 month turned into 2, turned into 3, and then I was out of testosterone. So that's sort of, that's a lot of it. I mean, there's obviously a ton of small incidents that sort of make me feel like I never identified as like a woman, and coming to an identity of a man was sort of a process. It's not something I necessarily knew for sure when I was like 4, but even when I was like 3, 4, 5, I just assumed that's how I would grow up, and also, I mean, I was pretty masculine, like always. My voice especially has always been super masculine, for people who are assigned female at birth. So, yeah. So sometimes even like I would go into like the women's restroom. This didn't happen often, but it happened a few times, especially when my hair was like super short. I'd go into the women's restroom and they'd think I was a guy,
Right.
Even when I talked. And so
Yeah.
after testosterone, like nobody thinks I'm, assigned female at birth. Nobody.
Yeah.
So, basically, been living pretty happily, pretty comfortably. The depression really went away. Once I got on testosterone, after like the first year, the depression totally lifted. I was more interested in everything. I actually wanted a relationship, which I had never really been that interested in before. Like my whole life changed completely because I really had no desire to live at that point. Like I even got put in psych wards twice. So like really just, especially those years, those were horrible years.
Yeah, I can imagine.
The psychiatric meds and everything, it just wasn't helping. So.
Yeah. And so, when did you start on testosterone?
So I started in August of 2018.
And are you on it currently, or
Well,
when
I should be,
provider left?
but
Okay.
but yeah, so this is the problem. This is why I was kind of anxious because so I just ran out like a few weeks ago, and so
Okay.
I'm on nothing right now for the first time in years, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Just you say a few weeks. I mean, just a few weeks doesn't sound probably right, but
Yeah,
because I'm sure for you it's like the worst.
It's
but,
awful, but no, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's just been I think about 3 weeks
Okay.
now.
Okay, perfect. And was that provider in New Mexico?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you for sharing some information about you and your history. Is there anything else that you think I should know about you, where you've been, or where you're hoping to go with your next steps forward?
So the main thing, well, there's a couple of things maybe, but the main thing I would say is, so I started on like a lower dose of testosterone just to sort of see, and then I went to 50 milligrams per week, and then I went to 100 milligrams per week, and that's what I've been at.
Perfect.
And so basically, I'd like to start, if we can. I mean, I don't know, but I'd like to start back where I was.
Totally. Yeah, if you've only been off for a couple of weeks, that shouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
When was the last time you had any labs done? Do you remember?
Yeah, there was one done like 6 months ago.
Perfect. Great. Oh, please, sorry, hang on.
It's okay,
I
don't
have
worry
a
about it.
child that was sent home.
Mm.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Yes. So last lab 6 months ago. So we'll switch gears a little bit and probably hopefully alleviate some of your concerns. So I'll go through some information about so at really this is our only like in-person or face-to-face visit, and most of our communication from here is done via messaging. So that comes up if like you have issues with pharmacy or we need to switch a prescription or anything like that, you message us. If it's something that my care coordinators or nurses can answer, they'll usually get back to you around the same day or within a day. If it's a medical question for me and not urgent, then it may take me a couple days to respond. Okay. If you feel like this is a good fit, you would get your prescription sent through today. So then you'd be able to just go and pick up your medications, get right back on the same dose. Okay.
That'd be great. Yeah.
So yeah, there's no sense in like waiting for labs. I do want to get some updated labs, but they're not really going to be accurate right now anyway, because you've been off for a couple weeks. And so, we'll get maybe labs in another month or so. We usually check labs every 6 months, every 3 months, and we probably might start for the first couple just doing it every 3 months just to make sure your labs are stabilized.
Okay.
But since you've been on it for so long, we often then just like space it out and do it every 6 months. Okay.
Okay.
But getting labs done isn't going to delay you getting a prescription.
Okay. That's good. Okay.
Yeah. And so then how the lab process would look is, my team would reach out to you and say, okay, it's time to get to lab. You would schedule yourself at a Quest facility. They would send me the results, and then I get a hold of you and say, here's how everything looks. We're good to stay on your current dose.
Okay.
Okay. And then the process of sort of labs repeats every 3 to 6 months, depending on how long we have like good stable levels. And then you get your prescription sent through, usually like a month supply with some refills. And then I keep redoing those. Okay. Any questions about that?
No, that sounds fantastic.
Okay. And then I always remind people, make sure you have your notifications on so that if we are trying to get a hold of you, that you're getting notified of those results or like of our updates or announcements or anything like that. Okay. We always have like resources and support. So if you feel like you need, to restart therapy or have any other questions, concerns, just reach out to us. We're happy to help.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if I said it, but I think starting you back on the 100 milligrams weekly, since you've only been off for a couple of weeks, is totally appropriate. I don't think we need to go back down, since we know that you've tolerated it well and haven't had any issues.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
You give yourself intramuscular as opposed to subcutaneous? Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Perfect. Great. And let's see, I know your blood pressure is in here, but I don't have the date that you uploaded it, so let me just put that
I think I posted
6/6.
Yeah, 6.
Great. Any other questions for me?
Not now. I mean, there are thoughts like in the future, maybe like I'm definitely top surgery is a thing I'm considering. It's not something I'm like I said, I got lucky, so it's not something I super need, but it's something I'm thinking about. So I don't know. That's not something we have to talk about now, but
Perfect.
Yeah.
And do you have insurance?
Yeah, I have insurance. So okay, so the insurance could be weird, only because it's in my old name, and I just changed it, so I don't know which name it's in right now because I haven't got the new card yet. So it could be in my old name or it could be in my new name. So yeah.
What I'll probably do is send your prescription under your current legal name, which is what we have.
Okay.
So your new name.
Yeah.
If you have any issues, or if when they run your insurance information, they say, hey, this isn't matching, I can always resend it with a note that says previous legal name, XYZ, and that may cover it. So we can just sort of cross that bridge when we get there if you have any issues with picking it up.
Okay.
The other thing would be, especially if you're anxious to get it, started today, is just use like GoodRx or pay out of pocket for a month until insurance is able to like figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds fine too. Yeah.
They do cover top surgery.
Okay.
Usually what it would require would be a letter, so 2 letters, one from me, and I'm happy to do that, that's included in the membership, one from a therapist, so we can always give you referrals, unless you have like a previous therapist who's just able to write a letter if you contact them.
Yeah, I might have that, maybe.
Yeah. And then, you have to be a non-smoker, you have to be a healthy weight with no diabetes. So assuming all of those, based on your history, are in line and you get your 2 letters, if they would then cover the referral, the surgery, we would put a referral in, and then you can like look at finding surgeons and that kind of thing. So it's a possibility, I think.
Yeah.
And so you just reach out to us if you need letters or anything like that.
Okay. That sounds good. Thanks.
All right. So, do you feel like this is a good fit and you want to move forward?
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. Great. Let me pull this up here and we will get some prescriptions set.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, yeah, it's fine. It's going to be weird because my even my Walgreens account is in my old name, so they're not going to have an account for me. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
And then as far as for the testosterone, we do the testosterone cypionate.
Yep, that's what I used to have.
Perfect. 100 milligrams. So you draw up 0.5. Is that where
you
were drawn
Yeah,
up?
I had the 200 milligram per milliliter one. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. That's all the standard. So Let me just get it pulled up here.
And thanks again, by the way, seriously.
Yeah, of course.
I've been sort of dreading it, but just freaking out because, 3 weeks off for the first time, yeah. So,
Yes. Yeah. Most of the time people are like, I feel awful.
yeah,
So,
I kind of do, yeah.
yes, I can imagine. All right. And so that's going to be 0.5 mLs weekly. We usually prescribe, and I don't know if this is how they did it, but 4 like 1 ml vials. So technically those like 4 weeks, and we say that they're single use, although you can draw more. And so technically those 4 vials should last you closer to like 6-ish weeks, because you draw out the rest of the one that's in there and then move to the next one. So it should last you a little over a month. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, right? Because I'm only taking
Okay.
half a milliliter, but it's a whole milliliter that
Yeah,
vials.
but then sometimes with the drawing up, people lose a little bit.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
it doesn't last the full like 8 weeks, but it gets you pretty close. So
Yeah, I get that, yeah.
okay, cool. So then, yeah, that'll be resent through. You'll have the 4 little vials with 5 refills, so you have refills for the next like 6 months or so. But my team will reach out and look at getting labs here in the next, they'll probably reach out to you in the next day or so, but you can just push it out for a couple weeks until you're sort of back on a steady dose for a couple weeks, okay?
Okay, wait, so they'll reach out, but do I set it up then?
Yeah, so they'll reach out with like the lab orders, and then they'll like give you the link to get scheduled at a Quest, and you
Okay.
can just
I
like
see.
self-schedule for a couple weeks out. So it's not like tomorrow where we know your levels are going to be super off. You can just push it out a couple weeks when you schedule.
Okay, that sounds great.
Sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Any other questions or concerns?
No, I think that was everything. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. Well, it was nice meeting you.
Yeah, nice meeting you too.
Again, we're happy to be a resource and support. So if anything comes up, just let us know. And then, hopefully you get back on. You feel great,
Yeah.
and just let us know if anything changes. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Seriously.
Okay. You're welcome. Take care. Have a great day.
Bye.